the first row, right here, Excellencies, ambassadors, panelists, come and sit down on the first row.
All right.
And we will have a short beginning of this unique occasion, and then we will go right there to the panel. So it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all. My name is Alex Mejia. I'm a program director at UNITAR. I'm also a member of the United Nations Christian Association. And more important than that, perhaps, a simple good human being that believe that dialogue, reconciliation, understanding make a difference. So this is why we're here today. So without further ado, we are going to begin with the agenda, the program, if you need it. Someone from UNITAR can indeed give you a copy. I will have the pleasure of explaining the mechanics, and then I'll give the floor to Mr. Francesco Pisano, my old friend and colleague, who will be inaugurating this third annual dialogue in commemoration of the World Interfaith Harmony Week on behalf of UNOC. To his right, allow me also to mention His Excellency Ambassador Luis Gallegos, a senior fellow of UNITAR, who would today grace us with concluding remarks after the panel ends. And the last announcement before Francesco begins is that we are very pleased to see that this initiative that began at his library 3 years ago, very has been maintained. And it has been maintained mainly by the support of the Permanent Mission of Jordan. So Ambassador Mahali, when the time comes, I will properly recognize you, but thank you very much for allowing us to be here today. Francesco.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Francesco Pisano, the director of the Library of the United Nations of Geneva. Thank you so much, Alex, for this introduction. Alex and I will go back a long way. We've been colleagues, we've been friends, we've been builders and trainers together. And Ambassador Gallegos is what an honor to be sitting next to you. What a honor. Welcome, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be given a few minutes to speak to you and to welcome you at the Palais des Nations for this third edition of this dialogue. First of all, let me be a little bit formal and say thanks on behalf of you to the Permanent Mission of Jordan and to Geneva for organizing this. And of course, special thanks also to and recognition to the Holy See, the Sovereign Order of Malta, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and the United Nations Christian Association as well. We are here in a building that was built before the United Nations for dialogue. My library has been established in 1919 as an instrument of international understanding. Dialogue is the basis for understanding. It's not exactly communication. We had the era of communication in the 80s and the 90s. Communication, I don't believe, is what makes us human. There are many living species that communicate. But dialogue is what makes us human. And I think that in this building, the atmosphere that resonates in this building is one of the different forms of dialogue with a purpose of building peace and of understanding each other. And I think that form of dialogue elevates us as humans. As humans, we have the choice. We can elevate ourselves, or we can stay pretty low. And we have examples throughout the history of our civilizations of both cases. I think that the initiative of holding the Interfaith Harmony Week, and indeed even the resolution, the initiative of the resolution, is particularly important in Geneva, where the international community had its first attempt at organized multilateralism. This began with the United Nations and continues in the spirit of the United Nations. So what you do here today is particularly consonant with that philosophy, that in my personal opinion goes beyond Viking history, goes beyond the United Nations. it's really the message here is we are in Geneva at the center of a notion of multilateralism that brought about the building of this very building where we are today. This is also the connection between the initiative and the library. That's why in 2016 we were pleased to host the first edition of the dialogue, because the library is a place that was engineered for dialogue, and it was added to the Palais des Nations by Rockefeller himself, not the foundation. And actually, many of you may know, but others may not, that the current physical location of the Palais des Nations is due to the addition of the library to the project of the architects. Some of you know that the Palais ought to be built closer to the lake, the area that is known today as Sécheron or La Terre du Lac. But that, when Rockefeller decided to make this present to the Palais des Nations of the library, the building project became too large for that part of terrain. So they exchanged it, they swapped it with the city of Geneva. They gave up the Arena Park, and this is how we are here today. So you see how pleased I am to be here and to be given this honor to open, because there is this brotherhood of intentions between what you're doing today and or sisterhood, indeed. And the last message I would like to convey is the same. I believe there is the same message for which you have this dialogue, and we hold so many events in our library. Is this core of common ground, which is the purpose of this dialogue in the international community, is to respect each other in our differences, but most of all, reaffirm and build a common ground. The way I envision this common ground is an island, is like an island. And this island in the middle of conflicts and differences and extremism and violent extremism, we're building this island. And the surface of this island, which is a safe place for all, which is the common ground, the common understanding, what we can share together and accept to share together. The surface of that island or territory depends on the collective efforts we will make together. And so I am deeply honored to be here today and to be the first to speak, because what I can see is that you are working to enlarge the surface of that island, and so do I, together with my colleagues, every day in the work that we do now as an instrument of international understanding, and of course, in the building itself, which is also the hand of this activity. So I thank you very much, and I wish you to work strenuously to enlarge the surface of this island. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Francesco. We will, the three of us, empty these seats so the panelists can take them. But before we do that, allow me to give some suggestions on the mechanics. And even before I do that, let me mention that it means for us also a lot that one of the early promoters of this initiative has come from Ecuador. Ambassador Gallegos was the permanent representative here, was before the permanent representative of Ecuador in New York, before the ambassador to the White House, and before, it will be too long to describe his illustrious career. But no, not that old. But hopefully we will have him back very soon. In the meantime, he has been a great supporter of UNITAR, and as such, it is a pleasure to have him here as our senior authority to do the concluding remarks. So I simply wanted to highlight his presence and thank him publicly for making the effort to travel back from his capital to be with us, and then he will leave us soon again, hopefully to return. So the panel is comprised of 7 panelists that I am going to announce now, and each one of them will have 10 minutes. The objective of this panel, as it has been always the objective of this interfaith dialogue, and as it is the spirit of Resolution 65L5, creating the World Interfaith Harmony, is not to come and engage in solely issues of faith, is not to try to persuade other faiths to accept other things. It is simply to find, as Francesco properly said, an excellent example of Francesco, that there are many commonalities amongst the faiths, that there is this common ground that should allow us to work together. So in the spirit of that type of neutral engagement, in the spirit of that resolution, we have dedicated this third edition of the annual dialogue to advancing peace through interfaith harmony. The first one was on issues of sustainable development. How can faith advance sustainable development? The second one was how to prevent the radicalization of youth that sometimes happen around issues of faith, unfortunately. And this one is at the other extreme of the spectrum, how to actually find concrete examples, and this is what we have invited each one of the panelists to share today, from their organizations, from their countries, what are very particular specific examples that can inspire an audience to perhaps also become champions of peace through faith. And also, I want to mention that the main audience is not here today. We are very happy that you have taken time to come and join us. And in the end, the 120 of us that are here in this room is a minuscule number. I say that most respectfully because most of you are very senior. We are very happy that you're here, but the audience that we are talking to is virtual. As we have done in the past, we will also upload this video to the internet. It's free, available to anyone. So we hope that this panel inspire people to see that there is this commonality, this intrinsic desire of human beings to actually live in peace. And I conclude this introduction by reading something that I found today in my own personal devotion. I am not going to tell you who wrote it, but I guess you find it easy. I quote, "We ought always to give thanks to God for you, brothers, as is right, because your faith is growing abundantly, and the love of every one of you for one another is increasing." That's the essence of what we want to do. And with that, allow me to, before we go, and Excellency, you will close us at the end of this period, I will invite to come to this presidium the following excellencies: the Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the Permanent Mission of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan to the United Nations in Geneva, Ambassador Saja Mahali; Ambassador Kok Jui Fu, the Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Singapore to the United Nations in Geneva; His Excellency Ravi Nata Arya Sinha, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Sri Lanka to the United Nations in Geneva; Ambassador Vakif Salikov, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Azerbaijan to the United Nations in Geneva. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for being here. And I'll explain at the end of this panel why your presence makes a big difference. Our partner from the very beginning, His Excellency Archbishop Ivan Jukovic, the Apostolic Nuncio, Permanent Observer of the Holy See to the United Nations in Geneva. Another founder of this initiative, Her Excellency Marie Therese Pictet Alman, Ambassador and Permanent Observer of the Sovereign Order of Malta to the United Nations in Geneva. Ambassador Asiata Kane, Deputy Permanent Observer of OIC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to the United Nations in Geneva. And last but not least, and that means also a lot to me, I have learned a lot from listening to him, as I will learn from listening to all of you, Ambassador Idris Yazali, the UN Special Rapporteur to the OHCR and also the Executive Director of the Geneva Center for the Advancement of Human Rights and Global Dialogue. Quite an impressive panel. So I welcome you all. Please join us here. Please sit.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Mary. Today is saying how this panel is gender balanced. Mr. Muller, Michael Muller, would have been very happy to see this, which is indeed the case. So we're very happy to have three ladies here with us, and before I start my comments, let me start by welcoming also everyone here and say how much I'm honored to be participating with partners from the beginning of this initiative, to use the words of dear friend now, Mr. Alex Mecha, as well as new partners and everyone here that is here today. So, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and guests. I would like to start today with a little unconventional thought. I'm sharing this thought with you that came to my mind as I was preparing for this event. The prayer beads, which I have in my hand. According to Wikipedia, the English word bead derives from Old English noun, which means a prayer. The oldest image of the string of beads in religious context dates back to the 17th century BC, and these beads have been used by members of various religions, religious traditions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Sikhism, and the Baha'i faith to mark the repetitions of prayers, chants, or devotions, such as the Rosary of the Blessed Virgin Mary in Catholicism, and Dhikr, remembrance of God in Islam. If anything, these beads, I think, remind of our oneness, even if only, and this is not the case, in the objects we use in our respective rituals. We, with our different gods and religions, make up a complete and beautiful whole, different beads that are as similar and as integral, with a string that runs through them being most divine and uniting humanity, that is. If the threads break for any reason, the beads will scatter in every direction, and all will lose their respective spiritual paths linking to the divine. Of course, there will always be differences that cannot be reconciled, but equally so, the similarities we share are far too important to divide and can hence be transcended. For in our human essence, we are one in the love of good, God, and neighbor. The golden rule is one for all. It cements with the glue of humanity. We may take different spiritual paths to the divine and may call our gods by different names, but as long as the essence is one, then too we are one and should not shun the other but open our arms wide to embrace our diversity. Gleaning sacred texts of all faiths and religions will show that the ultimate goal is building peace and coexistence, and that the one golden rule unites all. It will take time, it will not take time to discover that they all celebrate brotherhood, solidarity, and coexistence. But when we look back at 2017, we cannot but be disturbed by the events that had marked that year. Conflict, especially in the Middle East region, continued unabated. carving its brazen trails of fire and blood and death and destruction. Terrorist attacks on innocent people and on places of worship got victims unprepared. Hate crimes persisted in blind prejudice and lack of understanding. All claimed their victims without any semblance of respect to dignity of person, morality, or sanctity of life, and above all, humanity. Daesh destroying lives and dreams, slaughtering Muslims, Christians, and other minorities. Rohingyas attacked, killed, and driven out from their homeland. Churches bombed, mosques bombed, and also desecrated. Hotels also bombed. Pedestrians rammed by vans and car shootings, and many other unacceptable incidents. What was just mentioned is not meant to give a dismal picture of despair. Sad events continue to happen, yes, but encouraging manifestations in words and in deeds are also taking place. All the unacceptable incidents were met with the strongest condemnation, expression of solidarity, and spontaneous acts of support. Human chains were formed all over the world by peoples and leaders of all different faiths. Heads of states had spoken outright against such acts, sometimes apologizing to their own public and followers of other faiths. These examples should surely lift our human spirit. Moreover, all hope is not lost if we try to understand the reasons behind this sorry state of affairs and resolve to address the problems. At the level of the nation-state, one major cause for conflict is the absence of rule of law and its implementation. This is especially so in our region, which is made up of diverse religious, racial, ethnic, sectarian, and tribal constituents, which can lead to social and cultural enrichment, political pluralism, and economic enhancement, or can ferment nationalism, ethnic conflict, or even war, as His Majesty King Abdullah II explains in his 6th discussion paper on the rule of law and the civil state. The dividing line between these two realities, he explains, is demarcated by the presence or absence of the rule of law, and adds that a civil state is one that is governed by a constitution and laws that apply to all citizens without exception, and is built on peace, tolerance, and harmony, and is distinguished for respecting and safeguarding pluralism, different opinions, and protecting all members of the community, regardless of the religious and intellectual affiliation. Which means respect for rights of the minority is viewed as a guarantor for the rights of the majority. In other words, one tool to address the problem is instilling rule of law. Other major challenges facing the world and the region today include terrorism and extremism, the tool for which is concerted efforts for a holistic approach to address this threat in all its layers and at every level, resolving the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, the tool for which is realizing a just and comprehensive settlement based on a two-state solution, and the Arab Peace Initiative, safeguarding Jerusalem, and focusing on the values that protect humanity's future, the tool for which is the implementing of initiatives such as the Amman message, the Common Word initiative, as well as commemorating the World Interfaith Harmony Week as we are doing today. This is the 8th year of celebrating the World Interfaith Harmony Week. As we speak, over 735 events and counting for this year alone have been or are being reported by different organizations around the world in 37 countries. Here in Geneva, it is our 3rd commemoration. It takes on an added importance, not just because it coincides with the 70th anniversary of